All right, let's talk about one of the most famous, most passionate, and, let's be honest, most devastating love stories ever written. We're going to dive into the tragedy of Romeo and Juliet. Now, we're actually going to start at the very end of the play. These are the final lines spoken over the bodies of our two young lovers. It's just a gut-wrenching summary of the whole story we're about to unpack. It sets the tone perfectly, doesn't it? So, yeah, how did it come to this? I mean, really, how does a story about passionate young love end with two bodies in a family tomb? To figure that out, we've got to rewind. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. Okay, so here we are, Verona, Italy. Looks beautiful, right? But underneath all that, the city is just poisoned. There's this, as Shakespeare puts it, ancient grudge. We're talking about a deep, bitter, and really violent hatred between the two most powerful families in town. So, let's lay out the players. You've got two teams, basically. In one corner, we have the Montagues. That's our guy Romeo and his quick-witted best friend Mercutio. And in the other corner, the Capulets. This is Juliet's family, and you gotta watch out for her cousin, Tybalt. He's a real hothead. And these two families, they absolutely despise each other.
All right, so, love sprung from hate. It all kicks off at a party. A Capulet party, to be exact. You know, pretty much the last place on earth a Montague should ever show his face. And this one night, it changes everything.
So Romeo crashes this party, right? And boom, he sees Juliet, and it is instant. Love at first sight. They talk, they even kiss, and it's only after all that they find out the terrible truth. He's a Montague, she's a Capulet. I mean, Juliet's line here just says it all. It's that awful, sinking feeling. My only love sprung from my only hate. Talk about a complication. So what does Romeo do? Later that same night, he sneaks into the Capulets' backyard, and this, of course, leads to the balcony scene. You know the one. This is where they basically say, forget our families, forget our names, forget all of Verona. They're all in. And caught up in this crazy passion, they decide to do something totally radical. Get married. In secret. And believe it or not, they find someone to help them. Friar Lawrence. Now, he agrees to marry them, but it's not just because he's a romantic. He's playing a long game. He's taking this huge gamble, thinking, hey, maybe, just maybe, this marriage could be the thing that finally ends the feud. So for a second there, you feel this little spark of hope. But man, that hope does not last long, because everything just unravels. And it happens so fast it'll give you whiplash. Just look at this timeline. They meet Sunday night. They're married by Monday morning. And by Monday afternoon, their whole world is shattered. The entire story, start to finish, happens in less than 5 days. It's absolutely frantic. So that very same afternoon, the family feud just explodes onto the streets. Tybalt, remember him, Juliet's cousin, is still fuming about Romeo crashing the party, and he challenges him to a duel. But Romeo, who's now secretly married to Tybalt's cousin, refuses to fight. Well, his friend Mercutio isn't having it. He steps in, and Tybalt kills him. And with his dying breath, Mercutio, who, by the way, isn't a Montague or a Capulet, he curses both of them. A plague o' both your houses. This is the turning point. It's this chilling curse that basically predicts the tragedy that's about to swallow everyone whole. Romeo just snaps. He's so full of grief and rage for his friend that he completely forgets he's now related to Tybalt. He fights him and he kills him. For this, the Prince of Verona banishes him, kicked out of the city forever. This tears the newlyweds apart, literally hours after they got married. Their whole situation has just become completely impossible. So now Romeo's gone, and you think things can't get any worse? Oh, they do. Juliet's parents, who have no idea she's already married, decide she's going to marry some other guy in 3 days. She is completely trapped. Desperate, she runs back to Friar Lawrence, who comes up with a new plan. A much, much more dangerous plan. Okay, so here's the plan. On paper, it kind of makes sense, but it is so risky. Step 1, Juliet drinks a potion that'll make her seem dead for 42 hours. Step 2, the friar sends a letter to the banished Romeo to explain the whole thing. Step 3, Romeo comes back, gets her from the family tomb when she wakes up, and Step 4, they run off to Mantua together. Simple, right? I mean, what could possibly go wrong?
Well, as it turns out, everything. Everything could go wrong, because what follows is just this catastrophic chain reaction of bad timing and missed messages. It's a total tragedy of errors.
And this is the critical failure. The letter.
The one piece of information that would have saved everyone, it never gets to Romeo. Instead, his own servant gets to him first. The servant saw Juliet's funeral, so he tells Romeo the one thing that isn't true, that his wife is really, truly dead.
Romeo is just destroyed. He buys a fast-acting poison and races back to Verona, straight to the Capulet tomb. And there, he sees what he thinks is the body of his dead wife. So in his final, grief-stricken moments, he kisses her one last time, drinks the poison, and dies right there beside her.
And then, the timing is just brutal. Juliet starts to wake up, just moments too late. She opens her eyes and finds her husband, dead, next to her. And seeing him there, she can't live without him. She finds his dagger, and she ends her own life. It's just devastating. So that's the story. But you have to wonder, right? Why are we still talking about this play more than 400 years later? What is it about this story that just sticks with us? Well, a big part of it is how Shakespeare took a story that was already floating around and made it absolutely timeless.
Believe it or not, he didn't invent it out of thin air. The basic idea of two lovers from feuding families was already out there in Italian stories from the 1530s. Shakespeare's main inspiration was actually an English poem from 1562 called Romeo and Juliet.
But what Shakespeare did was pure genius. He took that raw material and just elevated it. He created these amazing side characters like Mercutio that feel so real. He mixed in comedy right before the tragedy, which just makes the sad parts hit so much harder. And with his unbelievable language, he basically invented the whole idea of star-crossed lovers as we know it.
And he packed all of that drama into this perfect 5-act structure. Think about it. Act 1 is the hopeful meeting. Act 2, the secret marriage. Act 3 is that shocking duel that changes everything. Act 4, the desperate plan. And Act 5, the final, tragic end. It's not just a boring formula. It's like a machine perfectly engineered to crank up the tension and hit you with the biggest emotional punch possible.
And the ending, well, it's pretty bitter. The families, the Montagues and the Capulets, they finally stop fighting. But why? Because their stupid, pointless feud cost them their children. So yeah, they get peace in the end, but they had to pay the highest price imaginable for it.
And that brings us to the big question that the play leaves you with. Were Romeo and Juliet just doomed from the start? Star-crossed lovers whose fate was sealed? Or was this all just a horrible, tragic series of human mistakes? Bad decisions, bad timing, and just way too much hate? What do you think? The play never really tells you, it just